All right, looking here at equations of lines, writing equations of lines, and being able to go from either graphs or from different various points, we got to be able to find equations. Everything you're going to be doing is dealing with a y equals mx plus b. So this first one, all you're going to do, in every single one, y equals something times x plus some number. So this first one, the m is how you move. So going from point to point, it's going up 7 to the right 1. So your slope is 7, and you're beginning at negative 2. So y equals 7x minus 2 is your answer. In this second one, y equals something x, and you're beginning at 3. Your slope here, though, is flat. There is no slope, so no x plus 3. So really your answer is y equals just 3 as your final answer for number 2. In number 3, you're beginning at negative 7. So y equals something times x minus 7. Your slope, you're going up 7 and to the right 4. So 7 over 4 is your slope there. Here in the fourth one, y equals, it's going to be plus 4 because that's where you're starting. And for this one, you're going up 1 to the right 9. So 1 over 9 as your slope. Just fill in the blanks. This one here, starting at 0. So y equals something x plus 0. So up 2 to the right 5, 2 over 5x plus 0. So all you need is y equals 2 over 5 times x. And the last one, you're beginning at 9. So y equals something x plus 9. And your slope down 2 to the right 1. So that's negative 2 over 1, which is negative 2. Again, check, make sure it's going downhill, so you better have a negative slope here. All right, next set. 7 through 10 should be really easy. All you're doing is plugging in into y equals mx plus b. In 7, the slope is 1/5, so m is 1/5 times x plus, it's an intercept, so that's all you plug in is that number 4. You're doing that with all these. Number 8, m is 2/9. The y-intercept is negative 3. In 9, m is negative 6. Slope is, I believe it was 1/2. Actually, on your paper, the intercept was written here as 3 over 5. So really this answer should be y equals negative 6x plus 3 over 5. So just because it's a fraction doesn't mean it can't be your b value instead. All right, and the last one, y equals, slope is 75, so that goes there, plus y-intercept of 300, just that easy. 11 through 14, we're going to use y equals mx plus b. Plug in the things that we know, because this time we don't know the intercept. We need to find what b is. Well, the y value is 3, the slope is 2, and the x is 5 plus b. This number becomes 10, so 3 equals 10 plus b. Subtract 10 from both sides, you get negative 7 is equal to b. So your final answer, y equals your slope, 2x, because the slope is 2, and then b is negative 7. So there's your final answer. Same thing for 12. Start with y equals mx plus b. Plug in a y value of 1, an m slope value of 1/3, and an x of negative 6 plus b. We do negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2, times 1 is negative 2. And then add 2 to both sides to get 3 is equal to b. So your final answer, y equals 1/3 x plus 3. In 13, y equals mx plus b. Beginning each one should start with y equals mx plus b. Your y value is 0. Your slope is negative 4 over 5. Your x is 20 plus b. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. So then add 16 to both sides. You get 16 for your intercept b. So y equals negative 4 over 5x plus 16 is your final answer. Get into the habit, boxing your final answer. And your last one, y equals mx plus b. Plug in a y of negative 7, m of negative 6, x of negative 2 plus b. So this is 12. Subtract 12 from both sides. That's how you get negative 19 to be your letter b. So y equals, your slope was negative 6, and then b, negative 19. So there is your answer, y equals negative 6x minus 19. All right, next page. We got one extra step to deal with. First thing we had to do is find the slope based on these 2 points. Well, slope is always your change in the y over the change in the x. Subtract the y's up top, the x's on the bottom. So with this one, slope equals, I would do 7 minus 2. So that's easy to do 7 minus 2 rather than the other way around. So if I did 7 minus 2, I got to go in the same order on the bottom and do 4 minus 3. So I get 5 divided by 1, which is 5. So my slope is 5. Now I do y equals mx plus b. Plug in. It doesn't matter which point I use, whatever one looks easier. I'm going to pick the second one. 2 for y. The slope is 5. The x is 3 plus b. 15 equals 2. So that means when I subtract 15 from both sides, negative 13 is what b equals. So that means I get y equals, my slope was 5, so that's what's attached to the x, minus 13 as your final answer. Next one. First for slope. Y's on top. Remember, it's y's over run, y's over x's. So I'm going to do 11 minus 5, because that's easier, 11 minus 5. I better go in the same order here, though. 1 minus negative 1. Careful with your negatives. Your top becomes 6, minus negative becomes plus positive, so that's 2, which means your slope is 3. When we do y equals mx plus b, again, it doesn't matter which one you use. I think the second one's easier because it doesn't have negatives to deal with. So 3 for m, 1 for x plus b, that becomes 3. Subtract 3 from both sides, 8 equals b, so your answer is y equals 3x plus 8. And 17. Again, we're still doing slope first. I have 4 and 5 for my y's, so I'd rather do 5 minus 4, which means I got to go 6 minus 3, which is nice. It works out to get positive numbers of 1/3. I do y equals mx plus b. Again, it doesn't matter which point. Let's take the first point this time, just because. The y is 4, the m is 1/3, the x is 3 plus b. 3 divided by 3 is 1, times 1 is still 1, so 4 equals 1 plus b, so b equals 3. Actually, just so you can see it, let's do, will that show up? Yeah, well, if I do y equals mx plus b here, and let's say I use the other point, just for funsies. The y is 5, the slope was still 1/3, the x was now 6 with the 5, plus b. So this 5 equals 6 divided by 3 is 2, times 1 is 2. You still are going to get b is equal to 3. So that means your final answer is y equals 1/3 x plus 3. Alright, one more going between 2 points here. Start by finding the slope. It's easier to do 7 minus 5. Let's say I accidentally messed up and did 5 minus 7. Well, it means I got to do this way too. 1 minus 3, I get negative 2 over negative 2. Negative divided by negative becomes positive. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So again, it doesn't matter which way you go either. If I had done 7 minus 5 and 3 minus 1, it would have been 2 over 2. It would have worked just the same. So y equals mx plus b. The first one I think is easier because it has a 1 for x. The slope is also 1, and the y value was 5. So this becomes 1. Subtract 1 over, you get 4 is equal to b. So your final answer, always got to get back to the final answer. Y equals 1x plus 4, or y equals simply x plus 4 as your final answer. All right, 19 through 22, they're giving you a line already. So with this one, the slope in the line that they gave you was 1/2. The slope parallel to that line is also 1/2. A parallel slope is the same as the original. So now you have a slope and a point. Now we just do like the first problems, like 7 through 10. Y equals mx plus b. Plug in things you know. The slope is 1/2. The x is 10. The y is negative 1. Half of 10 is 5. So you should get negative 6 is equal to b. So your final answer here, y equals 1/2 x minus 6. Number 20, same thing. They gave you a slope of negative 3. The parallel slope to that is also negative 3. So we do y equals mx plus b. My y is 3. My slope was negative 3. My x was 2. So this becomes negative 6. I add 6 to both sides. That's how I get 9 equaling b. Y equals, my slope was negative 3. Negative 3x plus 9. Perpendicular. Two things you do for perpendicular. My original slope here was 5. Two things I do to get a perpendicular slope. It's a double flip. I need to flip the fraction, so it was 5 over 1, now it's 1 over 5, and I flip the sign. It was positive, now it's negative. If my original slope was negative, then I would make it positive. So there I have my slope. I have my point as well from the beginning, y equals mx plus b. My slope now is negative 1/5. My x value is negative 1. Well, that's in your problem, it wasn't negative 1. These were, my apologies, these were negative 5 and positive 5 in your problem. I'll make it look a lot nicer here. Slope was negative 1/5, this is negative 5, and this was positive 5. So negative 5 divided by 5 is negative 1, times negative 1 is 1. So 5 equals 1 plus b, subtract the 1 over, 4 is equal to b. So your final answer here, y equals, your slope's negative 1/5, so negative 1/5 x plus 4, because your b is 4. Last one here, slope is 4/5. My perpendicular slope, flip the fraction to be 5 over 4, flip the sign, it was positive, now it's negative. Do y equals mx plus b, and plug in the values you know. The y is 3, the m is negative 5 divided by 4, the x is 20, plus b. Do the division first. 20 divided by 4 gives you 5. 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. So that means you'll add 25 to both sides, and that's how you get 28 equal to b. So your final answer here is y equals negative 5 over 4x plus 28. All right, and these last two are kind of bonus hint, hint, wink, wink type problems to be looking at here. First, we got to find the slope in this problem. I'd rather do 2 minus negative 1. If I do that, it means I got to have 3 minus 5 on the bottom. 2 minus negative 1 will give me a positive 3 over negative 2, or negative 3 over 2. Either way works just fine. So now I can do y equals mx plus b and plug in things I know. I can use either point. I'm going to choose the first one. So 2, 3, this is negative 3 over 2, plus b. I can't do 3 divided by 2, so what I will do, I'll do 3 times negative 3 to give me negative 9 over 2 at the bottom equals 2. To get b by itself, I'm adding negative 2, or negative 9 over 2. I'm adding positive 9 over 2 to both sides. To do that, I need to have a common denominator. So I have 2 plus 9 halves. I need to make this a denominator of 2, which means the numerator would be 4. So 4 plus 9 gives you 13 over 2 for your b value. So that's why your final answer here is y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 13 over 2. Your last one here, y equals mx plus b. Again, they're already giving you the slope, so the slope is 3 over 7. The y is 7. Excuse me, the b, or the x is 2. X is 2, find b. Can't do division, so 3 times 2 is 6 over 7. So I'm going to subtract the 6 over 7 from both sides. Make my common denominator, that becomes 7. This becomes 49. So when I subtract them, I get 43 over 7 is equal to b. So y equals 3 over 7x plus 43 over 7. Those two are the tricky ones. You'll probably see one of those, wink, wink, tomorrow for your test. Best of luck. Study well. Make sure you can do all different types.